Hey team, what is going on? We're going to do some artwork this morning. Give me a second here to check in on my signal for us to get started. I got a couple buttons I need to click for the social medias, and then we'll get to work here for a little while. My internet's moving slow. I hope that doesn't end up biting us in the ass. Slow. I hope that doesn't end up biting us. Mic check, 1 2 3. Slow. I hope that doesn't end up. Mic check, 1 2 3. Cool. We'll drop that down. I'm going to grab this link here. I'm going to do my social media post here real fast. We're creating an adventure for Eberron using Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition 2024 rules. The adventure is done. We've playtested it. We've gone through the process of doing all the page layouts, map assets, tokens, and NPC illustrations. We're now going through the book and filling the gaps in the pages with relevant content. So it takes a number of months for me to do so. So we do it on stream here Monday through Friday in the morning, and I do game design and other ideas in the evenings. So I think I've gotten through my intro here. So if you think this stuff is cool, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications when we're live in the future. The full playlist of all 528 episodes is here. Here's some of my online communities, and here are a bunch of books that I've created on the DMsGuild already. They all have free previews, so be welcome to check them out if you think they're cool and you like playing D&D. Consider picking them up and utilize the assets to change your games. So, book cover, we're on episode 40. Let's get that out of the way. We are working on Atur Academy. This is, architecture is not my strong suit. It takes a while for me to build it, but I really am enjoying the results that we've been creating here. So it's we should have it done. I doubt we'll get it finished on stream today. It'll probably be tonight or tomorrow that we get it finished, and then next week we're going to start on another illustration. So hey, what's going on, Karen? Good morning. It's been quite a while since I've caught one of your streams. Well, I'm proud to have you on the team, Karen. Let's see. Again, for those that aren't indoctrinated, this is a 16:9 format. So if you're playing the game as a DM, you can have a device set up that fits the page. Here, I'll show you the full Monty. Let's get rid of that. And let's put the text back in and hide the page. Hold on, hide the references. There you go. I don't have this illustration set to size. We're going to shrink it down so it fits better. But this is the general look of the document. The next thing we do after we finish this illustration is we're going to work on the page frame here to resolve, to finalize what this will look like, because we're at the point in the document overall that we're starting to integrate illustrations and map assets into the page, like the visual elements of the page. We have to integrate all that stuff together. So 16:9 format. Here is the full document. It's if your phone was, or if you're whatever you're looking at this channel on, if you're full screen, you can probably read the text as is. Each individual column is also a 16:9 format, so you can look at them individually on the vertical alignment here. So that's that. Since there's no intention for it to be published, there's no limitation on what type of a page I'm going to use. So I'm exploring and experimenting with this 16:9 format. It fits the way that I use devices, so I figure it probably fits a lot of other people as well. And since it has no intention of being printed at any point, I don't really feel bad about that. But if you really wanted to print this out when you get it, you could always slide it through using 11 by 17 pages. This will fit on an 11:17 page if that's how you want to do it. I won't stop you, but I also wouldn't. I don't know if I'd ever publish a book at the 17 by 11 by 17 format. I have no idea what the cost associated with that would be. Now I'm kind of compelled to find out about that. All right, well, that's a completely separate topic. We'll dive off that cliff when we get to it. Let's disable the mask layer and add the reference stuff back in. Hide the text for now. We're doing detail work here inside of the actual academy. So let's see, I believe, yeah, this is where we're at here. And where are you sitting at? Fog, of course. All right, so let's drop that back. Tower, there we go. Okay, everything's making sense. So let's just move. God's grace, let's move forward and see what we can do to get this done. So we want to straighten these edges up a little bit here. Karen, how have you been? Welcome back to the team, sister. Yeah, neaten that up. This is gonna be we're doing detail work, which is basically just small details and cleanup, making sure that our angles are all good. Correction. I don't really need to mince on details too heavily because the size is so small, but I don't want to neglect anything in the process. That's the wrong answer. Let's get that like that. Sure ones. Hey, hello. Anathema, good to see. How you doing? Hey, hello. Anathema, good to see. Yeah, so far the day's been great. I woke up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Oh, I've got a fresh cup of coffee by my side here. Let's do the trophy artist sipping coffee routine. Say something profound and then carry on with our art. There, now I feel like a real artist. Grab this here. Let's just drop that in there. Frame. Just like that. Icked. How's that looking? That's not the proper course. What's going on? Hey, 100. Cheers. Been doing well. However, my house is a mess because of, well, you know, ever-changing world of struggle. If we didn't have things to improve in our life, why would we even bother living? You know. If we didn't have things to improve in our life, why would we? Let's see. I'm really arguing with this edge over here. So let's see if I can win that fight with minimal casualties. That feels better. Let's just run along the edge here. Detail architecture is honestly my weakest element of illustration, which is why it's taking a long time for me to finish it because I don't have a lot of easy, ready to go techniques to expedite this process. But B, it's really important that I start leaning into this because the next book that we're going to do is the Bastion campaigns, which is about hideouts, the Bastion system from Dungeons and Dragons. It's like a hideout or a business or a shop or a keep or a settlement that your team takes command of. So I suspect there's going to be a lot of structural illustration going on in that book. So I figure this is, don't shy away. I mean, obviously I want to finish this book as fast as I can. So I stream in the mornings like this every week, or every day, Monday through Friday every week, to guarantee that I'm pushing the ball forward. I also work on, like, I worked on this for like maybe 2 hours last night off stream. And so, but architecture, anyway, it's thank God there's elements of Bob Ross work inside of this actual illustration here, panning back, so that I can have a good environment for the architecture to sit inside of. I love doing Bob Ross environment paintings. Oh boy, but the architecture stuff is murdered. Notice how Bob never really has anything more than just a wooden cabin with snow on its roof in the woods. Because architecture is really fucking difficult to do with the Bob Ross method. It is everyone has their weakness, and that is the joy of painting's weakness is no joy for architecture. So I'm attempting to resolve that issue. But I'll have to figure out those techniques as we go. We'll get there eventually, probably. Yeah, maybe we will. Okay. Nope. That perfect. All right, cool. So let's flip here. A little thicker. That's not bad. I spy with my eye text on the wall. I should really get a second vertical monitor because I'm so fucking blind that I can't read that text without stopping my work and glancing over. Hey, home repairs are necessary sometimes. Hell yeah, they are. Hell yeah, they are. Home repairs are necessary sometimes. Hell yeah, they are. Hell yeah, they are. Everything has entropy. It's our job to battle the entropy while we live. Is embracing the entropy is literally chaos. Straighten that up. Okay, that actually feels pretty good. Hey, what's going on? Exciting. Yeah, Bastions are very cool. Conceptually, I dreamed up a Bastion for my looking forward to seeing what comes of that next. Also, I've been crocheting. Nice. My niece is expecting a second child. Sweet. And great Bastion for your players. That's awesome. Yeah, I love inserting bastions into campaigns. It sounds like you're not familiar with the document. I'll be working on it tonight. I do art streams in the morning like this, Monday through Friday, and then on Mondays and Thursday nights and Tuesday, Friday lunches, I do game design, and I'm in love with D&D. I always have been. I've been a DM since 1987. I've played every iteration of D&D and DM'd all of them except for 4th edition. And I love how the 5e game engine works. I really enjoy the modularity of 5e in general. Let's put that in here like that. And halfway point. You know, now that I'm thinking about it, I should do a separate layer. Thank you. Halfway point, halfway point, halfway point, and then half the halves. And the further back in time you get with D&D, the more emphasis there is on Dominion, what they call Dominion style of play, or providing a bastion for your characters. It was hard coded into character development earlier than 3rd edition, and in 3E it was still an option, though not the emphasis. Once Wizards took over, they started leaning away from bastion or Dominion style of play coining the term dungeon punk. They leaned more and more into developing a character, what I'll refer to on channel here as deck building. Basically creating, I mean, Magic the Gathering is Wizards' primary cash cow, and that game is about collecting cards and then building a deck out of those cards, and then using that deck to see if it's better at defeating your enemies than, say, option number 2, 3, 5, 7, Z, whatever. So when WotC took over D&D, they developed D&D into a deck building game with third edition, with the multi-class system that they developed, where every time you gain a level, you could choose what character class you want, and then they developed prestige classes to lean into that concept. So it's like, well, if you've developed your character to have these features, that opens up your ability to take this prestige class instead. And some of them you couldn't get until 11th level, and so that opened up this concept of deck building, where I'm going to multi-class and combine feats, classes, prestige classes, races, spell options, all of these things together to have a character that can do specific tasks, like be really good at sneaking around. If I combine all of these different spell options, I'll have a rogue that can get like a plus 30 to their die roll, no problem. So I can do crazy stuff, like, I don't know, whatever. So that was the original. That was how 3E and kind of WotC set the pace for how they're going to make D&D work. And fourth edition destroyed that concept of prestige classes and deck building. It simplified the whole process. I mean, third edition was a sprawling affair. It had so much stuff going on with it that I do not blame them for stepping away from that. But prestige classes and all these different mechanical systems that you can build out of all of these little subclass variant, all these subsystems of classes. I don't blame them for stepping away from that. There's a lot of design and detail work that's required for them to be able to make the thing function properly. It's a logistics nightmare and a massive playtesting issue. So it's just sad that we lost it, because it was so fun theory crafting characters and then running a campaign to see if they work as well as you thought. And we still see that with 20th level arena PvP style games, where people will build will make a pre-generated character of a certain level and then make them fight and see which one ends up winning the tournament, just to, as a proof of which character is the toughest. And one second. I'm sorry. I literally just woke up in the middle of this conversation. I don't remember what's going on. What were we talking about? We were talking about deck building. Oh, we were originally talking about Dominion style. Thank you. I get on a tear and I forget where I'm at. So luckily the pixels keep getting pushed while I step out of the conversation like that, and the work gets done regardless of me. But let's add in. That's a little bit too bold there. Let's add this in here. One second. I gotta get this set correctly. Yeah, Dominion style, man. Okay, so yeah, as they leaned more and more into the dungeon punk aspect of the game, and more bandwidth of game design went into character creation, there was less and less space available to consider the different aspects of what the game was, of like developing kingdoms and armies and diplomatic stuff, and it just the shift of the game changed with Wizards, and there we go. That's a pretty good line. Don't think I like straight edge that we got going on here. What I ultimately want to do is have a curve through here like that. Well, I guess I just solved my own problem. That's exactly what I want to do. So let's just drop this in here. And curve it around. Then, hold on a second. Nope, that's the wrong spot. Over here is where I want to be. Kind of like that. I'm gonna be whinging here for a second. I'm dealing with this archway, seeing through this archway space here. So I'm trying to figure out exactly what's the logistics there. Thinking something like that. No, that's not the right way to do it. This is the way to do it. Curve like this. There we go. This is such a stupid small little detail, but if I can nail it, it's really just going to help sell the architecture. So I'm going to whinge on that. So the Bastion campaign book that I've been working on is restoring that depth of Dominion style of play, of commanding an army, having a realm of your own, and then governing it. The Bastions, the Bastion system that Wizards developed for 5e24, it's throwing shade at them here real quick. It basically is just a way for you to dump gold into, like, to throw gold away, but eventually you get to a point where it starts accumulating gold for you, so that kind of backfires. But it's basically a system that allows players to decide what magic items they get. Is ultimately what it really gets to. Is that it provides a number of ways for your characters to get magic items on demand. Scrolls, potions, not artifacts or anything crazy like that, but it gives them a lot more control over minor magic items that they can get access to, whether the DM wants it or not. So the DM is losing a degree of control in the campaign with how the Bastion system is written in 5e24, and there's no success or failure. It's what we call the social pillar of the game, where the players tell the DM stuff. The social pillar is a player facing pillar that it's normally depicted as like narrative, right? Like conversations with NPCs and stuff. But I argue often that the exploration pillar is actually just like conversations with NPCs, especially if you need information from them. That's actually investigation. So it's not actually a social pillar at all. I think, in my opinion, my humble opinion, the social pillar is kind of like the shenanigans pillar, where your characters are going to make stupid jokes and like quote Monty Python for 2 hours, and then we'll get like maybe a couple fights done, and then that'll be our session for the day. Like, that social pillar is really just yakety schmackety and descriptive stuff. It's all the connective tissue that exists outside of the game. So in reality, in game, there's only really two pillars. There's exploration and there's combat. And any reason that you would have to have a social encounter with an NPC is typically going to be either the DM using them as a means of narrating exposition, providing exposition for the campaign, or it's the characters investigating, trying to get answers to something. Both of those, the exposition, I guess you could call social, but the players interacting with NPCs through the characters, that is actually exploration. So there's only two pillars of adventure. And we acknowledge that shenanigans is a significant portion of the playing experience, but it's not its own pillar of adventure. I believe that's a misnomer. So I like to provide that reframe as a point of reference. So the Bastion campaign is in the social pillar because you have no control. The DM doesn't have any way to challenge the players and the decisions that they make with their Bastion unless you want to destroy their Bastion. And that's a very binary decision. So the document that I've been developing is more of an ability check system that your NPCs are making underneath your direction. So it's a modified ability check that you're making to achieve the different tasks that you assign to your team. So, hey, what's up? Layers of Ethris. Great discussion, thanks. I agree. 5th edition is an excellent system. The modularity is a big... Yeah, absolutely. Love the short form modular content is being made these days. Yeah, absolutely. They're putting together layers, the Ghostfire games, okay, into the campaign right now. It's been so nice to sit back and run someone else's content. Yeah, right on. Hey, how you doing, Fox? It's good to see you, my dude. Yeah, architecture, not my strong suit. But here we are so far. It's coming along really nicely. I doubt I'll have it finished today because we have about an hour left. So I doubt I'll finish it. But we're making progress, and I'm pretty certain. I like how that arch turned out. I just like that little peekaboo. That feels good. So let's just keep building structure inside here until we're done. Drop anchor there. There. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Oops. 4. 1, 2, 3, and then it wraps around the corner. That means I can. Let's go like here. There. Nope. Wait, here. Nope. Wait, I'm lost in the sauce. There it is. What layer am I on here? Okay, that's acceptable. So yeah, we'll continue working on Bastion stuff tonight when I jump back on stream. I'm pretty content with the system as it sits, but there's a lot of cleanup that we need to do, and there's like connective tissue, like text and stuff. I'm refamiliarizing myself with how it's been laid out, and I see a lot of things that need to be changed about it. I'm not sure how long that's going to take, but I want to get that as we finish up this Eberron adventure and open up our morning art stream. Well, once this book is finished, then what am I supposed to do in the mornings? Well, I've got 6 books that I want to make, so I can start doing book covers. So I want to do. You always want to do book. I'm going to talk at you like I know what I'm talking about. I always want to do the book cover first, because it is the most intricate and the first impression that your audience has about the book for them to decide if they even want to open it or not. And if I can complete the book cover first, it's now something that I can refer back to during stream over and over again. It's basically brand awareness for however long it takes for me to finish it. Let's add those in. Yeah, so far so good. This is turning out okay. Let's go down here. And a wash. Foxy, my dude, how you doing? So far, so good. Thanks, Anna. So I always end up shortening everyone's name down to 1 or 2 syllables. I blame Doctor Who for that. I was very impressionable at 10. And he's like, "What's your name?" And his assistant was like, "Yada yada 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 yada." It's like, no, we're gonna call you Lilu. That's something I can say that won't. That's something brief that I can say. Look out! I don't know the exact quote. It's been too long. It was the Fourth Doctor though. The Fourth Doctor was my favorite. Hey, the Fourth Doctor was the first Doctor that I encountered, and generally the first Doctor. You have this. There's like this attachment theory that the first Doctor that you watch actual episodes of is the first Doctor. Is your favorite Doctor because it's the one that you have your first impressions about, and sets your tone for what you think the TV show is going to be. And when the Doctor reincarnates into somebody new and a different actor, different mannerisms, different outfits, it changes the tone of the show. Like I was not a fan of the fifth Doctor at all. The sixth Doctor was okay. Honestly, I only liked the third Doctor and the fourth Doctor. And I think when they re-hyped the series, like in 2007 or something like that, that first Doctor that came through, the first of the New Wave Doctors, I was pretty cool with that. Doctor Who enthusiasts out there, you can all fight me over which one's the best Doctor. I know you desperately want to kick my ass for not liking the fifth Doctor the most or whatever. I am ready. I am ready to meet your challenge. With scarf and jelly babies in hand, I will assault your ideas about who the best Doctor is. That's not true. I couldn't defend it other than it's the first one I saw. So attachment. That's my only defense. I mean, if you can defeat that, then I'm effectively a one-trick pony. That's the wrong button. Let's try that again. I see text. What's up? There's some perspective aspects in the architecture that helps sell the piece. I remember. So far, so good. Architecture. Yeah. It's the little details. It's again, you wanna provide enough detail that your eye just like gives up. It's like, okay, fine, whatever. This looks fine. Oh wait, this is supposed to be every other. I need to scoot this guy over to here because it's every other. I have a frame here. I've got a beam here, and a beam here, and it's every other beam. There's a doorway, so I'm going to replicate that motif here. So here's a beam that's going to stay blank. This would end up being about here. Like that. It's the parallaxing of having the railing is closer to you than the interior than the interior balcony and the doors. So the foreground is blocking visibility of the depth inside, and that helps sell the perspective of the piece without having to really overwork it. It's a nice little cheat. Hakuna Matata. Just gonna drop some shadow up in here. I don't have to murder myself on these details. I just want it to be about the same level of consistency here. So like we'll do some shadow on the railing here, and the perspective isn't perfect, but it's good enough. I mean, again, the scale that we're operating at is actually about. If you aren't looking for flaws, this is the resolution that we're dealing with. And at this level, that amount of detail, it's fine. So I'm not really stressed. I just want to make sure it's accurate. So when people do decide, because it is a PDF, so you have massive zooming opportunity. And when people zoom in, I do want to make sure that it's accurate. So I don't have to kill myself on the details, but I do need to make sure the details are there to sell the piece. You know, like convince, sell the narrative. But this is a really good piece. I'll be able to use this again in the Bastion campaign for sure. And I might decide to make this stock art. I haven't set up my Shopify account yet, but if I do, I can start selling pieces that I build on Shopify. I don't know how many people would actually buy it. I mean, people buy stock art. It happens. But the primary purpose of me doing artwork is to populate my book with unique art. So I don't have to. I was an artist far before I was a game developer. So I utilize the games that I make to focus the artwork that I have to. I don't have a choice. I have to do art. That is not an option. It's just an option of what am I going to do? What am I going to do with the art that I make? And this was a more productive, what felt like a more productive and rewarding outlet than just sketchpad at a pub. It's because there's so much direction. Like there's so many things that I could be doing, quote unquote, could be doing with my art when I'm designing books like this. It's like it's just like, yeah, this is obvious. This is obviously what I could be doing. This is far more compelling and difficult than just doing some still life somewhere. And the ideas that I get to build with these, I mean, what came first? Dungeons and Dragons or fantasy illustration. For me, they were hand in hand. They both showed up in my life at the exact same time when I was 12. And I just really wanted to make both of these things something really solid in my life. And I've been homebrewing, I've been making my own campaigns and homebrewing stuff for freaking ever. So it just seems only natural that I would eventually get into actually designing books and then utilizing my art to, you know, get the idea, the vision that I have of what these things are out of my head onto the page. I'm rambling a little bit, sorry. It's kind of like that sometimes. Let's do that. There's I can't really just it's for me to get on a true tear about a topic and just to lose myself in conversation. I can't. I have to be working on a piece that doesn't require concentration or decision making, that it can just flow. And I do not have flow state with architecture, not yet. I want to get there, but I'm not there. I don't have enough tools and proficiency in creating structures for me to attain that level of mastery. I'm looking forward to getting there, but I recognize that I am not yet there. It has an open arch, so nothing goes there. I can layer that over there like that. Okay, that's a detail. Let's add on another layer and drop into here and grab the shadow. I almost want to get back into the Mecha Kaiju book. I've been feeling that calling. It's still a little ways away, but I can feel it wants my attention again. But the martial powers and the color mana system, I think it's from a design perspective, it's in a nice spot right now. We're still play testing that in the mega dungeon in the mornings to make sure that the system works properly. But there's I don't have any changes I need to make to the system until we have more play testing to find any flaws in any of the things that we have in the system. So that opens up my design space in the evenings to mess around with something new or old that I haven't had a chance to get back to in a while. Let's be cheeky and do that. Oh, God, that sells it. That really sells it. All right. Oh, yeah, I need a little bit of shadow in here. This is coming along. What's going on? I'm missing text. So? To me, there is no best doctor. They all have their flaws and strengths. Very fair. Very, very fair. I don't know what I back means. Yeah, they'll have their own vibe. It's just everyone. I think just I think people just naturally glom on to the one that they see first. I mean, it's your first impression. You're a baby duckling watching Doctor Who, and you're just gonna glom on to the first Doctor. I commend you for having the emotional flexibility to care about other doctors. I am a cold machine. This and let's add in this shadow down here like that. If I really want to get stupid, like over the weekend, I might add like little people here and there, just kind of living their little people lives. We'll see. We'll see if I have the tolerance and endurance to do that. Doctor says I need less red meat. My cholesterol's a little high, so they said you should switch from steak to salmon, and that'll help take care of it. And I'm like, okay, so I got a fat salmon steak waiting for me for lunch today. I am looking forward to frying that up. I'm not frying it. I'm gonna bake it. Probably broil it. I'll probably broil it. I am very much looking forward to that. I love fish. Living in Seattle, there's some really good sushi in this town. It is honestly, it's insane the quality of sushi that's in this region. If you are a sushi enthusiast, you should swing by sometime. Hey, there's my 20-minute timer. I should have 40 minutes left? Yeah, we got 40 minutes left. Let's just keep doing. Let's just keep doing. That feels pretty good. Gradient's good. Boop. There. I'm just gonna. I think I can leave that tower like that. So I'm going to shift my seat. Adjust my robe. Get caught up in my pants. Consuming fish always helps. Hell yeah. Sometimes thrice. Yeah, I used to watch PBS throughout high school. It was they played Doctor Who on Sunday nights from it was like from 9 till 11, and then from 11 till midnight they played Red Dwarf after that. And I would sneak into the basement to watch British TV. despite my parents. Maybe I can. Let's do this. Can I get away with this? Signs point to maybe. Okay, now we have a base template for us to figure out the rest of this curve. That worked really, really well. Can I cheat that again? Well, this might have just gotten really easy. Free transform. Flip horizontal. This goes against my basic tenet of freehand everything, but this is an example of that's the thing about architecture, is that you want it to be precise, and copy paste is definitely a way to guarantee that you are correctly duplicating. Can you hear the cope? Look at that guy just dropping there. He doesn't have the same shadow that the other one does. So I need to clean that up a smidge. God damn, that was easy. Even if these are the only two windows that this works with, it just made everything just so much easier to complete. Just fix that curve. There we go. PBS, man, gotta love it. Sugars are good, and I don't recommend overusing them. I don't. Yeah. But like this is like one of those instances where like this just makes sense. I can cheat this in pretty easy. Hey, let's just grab up. Let's grab this one. We'll have to probably figure this. Maybe we can get away with this one. Let's find out. We'll check it and see. Hot-blooded. Transform. Flip horizontal now, baby. Same technique of squeeze and squeeze. Set there like that. I think there's a flaw. Yeah. Let's skew. the dash likes. Let's just bring that down a snig. That feels pretty good. It's still a little, looks like it's still a little off. Okay, so what's off? Is it the towers that are off? Or is it this interior? I think this interior is the one that's actually flawed. And that's, yeah, let's blame the victim. And merge layers here. And let's cut that free. This up. Oh, no regrets. Let's fix. Get rid of that. Gotta keep that. No regrets. Delete the elite. Keep that in. Yeah. Afford to get rid of that. Hey, what's going on? The curvature of the tower is now looking flat on the last window. This here? I think the curve. I mean, the curve looks good there, but yeah, I definitely have to fix this last one. So we're gonna freehand that one. I could agree with you more, but I already agreed, so cheers. The one you just put in needs a little less height. The bottom looks good. Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, yeah. No, oh, yeah, right. The curvature bent it wrong. You're right. I see what you're saying. Oh, I see what you're saying. Let's do it like that. I think that's gonna fix it. Good call. Good eye, Karen. Let's fix that up in there. Thank you, Sister Soldier. Way on point. Way on point. Yeah. Hell yeah. She knows her shit, folks. She knows her shit. Well, it's a blessing that you showed up today. Just happened to show up today and have some keen insight. Doesn't life just work out? I'm gonna paint over that. block all that bullshit in here real fast. Oh, really? So far, so good. So what? Raise this up a snig. Oh boy. Nice. Okay, I'm happy with that. Yeah, hell yeah. Guess not. So, good eye is good eye, and when something looks wrong, it fucking looks wrong. That's what we were talking about. You want to have enough detail there that your eye just says, "Nah, that makes sense," and then it just kind of falls asleep and just renders stuff for you. You know, like as long as your eye is falling for whatever it is that you've got going on, you're doing it right. Whatever illusions or techniques that you use, the end result is what's important. And there's a question on Reddit, like, is problem solving skills important for art? I'm like, fuck yeah, it is. Like, all illustration is solving the question of, this thing doesn't exist, what does it look like? Like, that is literally what illustration does. I guess you could immediately counter that point about, like, you know, like still life paintings and stuff like that. That's the art of still life painting developed because we didn't create a camera first. We created paint first. So we became a paint-centric culture and started depicting things with the best tools that we had available to us at the time, which was paint. Now that we have photos, this is a really good argument about AI, right? Now that we have photography, people haven't stopped painting. It makes painting more precious. It's not a utility anymore. It's now a craft. It was always a craft, but now it's not a necessary craft, because if you need something 100% accurate, you can just take a picture of it. Unless it doesn't exist, in which point you actually do need to have a human interaction helping make the thing look the way that you need it to, like architecture and shit. But with AI becoming more and more universally usable, and anyone being able to create a degree of some sort of visual reference material, it's no longer even really a utility unto itself. It's just where am I trying to go with this conversation? Being able to illustrate is less and less important now, because just if all you're trying to do is fill space with imagery, then yeah, you can just use AI or a computer program to generate that content for you. But what most people don't think about is when you are using AI technology to create illustrations, you are still just an art director, and the AI machine itself is the artist, and you still have no control over what that artist is going to produce based on the prompts. You could edit the hell out of it and demand that they go back and do the job over and over and over again, and because the machine isn't getting paid, is willing to do that for you. Let's bring that down a snig. But that just allows everyone to basically be an art director with someone that will be there, that's willing to work on their request. You see what I'm trying to say? Maybe. Good. Now I need to do this transparent process the same as over here. Now I would do another layer. Like that. Just the satisfaction of being able to create these sort of things. It's just that's the obsession for me, is being able to create a solution that works, that I was capable of crafting myself. Like people don't need handmade chairs. People don't need handmade tables, but we appreciate the craftsmanship that goes into it, the uniqueness of the piece. There. Okay, now what do I need to do next? Here, I need to put in a masking layer along the edge here. I'm pretty content with that. We'll put in some. We just need to put in some shadow effect along the outer rim, and I think I'm going to be happy with this. It's further away, so I don't feel like I need to add in as much detail. We're doing fine. If the user keeps the command simple, then the AI program's results are better. Fair enough. I'm a big fan of AR in the moment. Yeah, it has that same samey feeling to it. It's weird. I see too much being asked of a limited program, and the results is very. Yeah. The less you ask for, the better off it is. Absolutely. The same thing with a real artist. It's like, yeah, paint me an elven archer, and if that's all the prompt that you have, then the artist is free to create any kind of elven archer that they want, Legolas or whatever. It's when you start getting stupid specific about stuff, and there's like 1,000 revisions. It's like, I wonder if there's some sort of depth in the machine that also gets exasperated. $20 minutes left. We're doing great. Holy shit. We made better progress today than I expected. I'm pretty happy. Just doing we're just doing a curved gradient here to help sell the roundness. It's not heavy. Let's do that. Let's flesh that all in here. There we go. just grab a little bit of this in here like that. Now we're just basically being picky. This thing's essentially done. We're just basically running victory laps right now and just adding in little details. But yeah, at the end of this 20 minutes, as soon as we're done here, I am content with this being done, which means we actually finished the fucking thing. Holy shit. Oh wait, there's you know what? Honestly, I think I'm gonna let this sit like this. Thanks, Anathema. Yeah, almost all my techniques is from Bob Ross. It's either stippling by just adding in paint or smudging to blend the paint in. And so, like, that's literally all my illustrations. If you want to see, there's actually, you can see, if you're obviously you're a D&D enthusiast. All the books that I've created, they all have 100% free preview, like cover to cover. You can look at the entire book online. So if you wanted to grab any of these books that I have in here and click the free preview to pop open a PDF, you'll see all the artwork that I've done for all these different books, and all of the techniques that are in these books are consistent. So they're you can buy them if you want to, but the preview is free. The idea is that there's so little exposure for small indie producers like me. I'd rather risk you stealing my, quote unquote, stealing my work and give you the full book for you to see that the ideas are good. And if you actually do agree, these are good ideas that you actually want to implement into your game, then it's like, well, yeah, then you'll probably end up picking it up, because like all the books that I publish, like most of them have assets like maps and tokens and play sheets and stuff like that like makes using the thing easier. But the point is that you can click open any of those things, you can go through and you look at all the artwork, like how I do like page framing, like what we'll do next. So now that this illustration is actually done, we can go back through, and tomorrow we're going to start building this as like an actual frame. These along the bottom here, table of contents, running the game, deputized part 1, and then region A and B in part 1, part 2, regions A, B, C, part 3, and then the appendices, appendix 1, 2, 3. These will all end up being, once the PDF is published, you'll be able to click on these, just click, and it'll take you to part 3, or click, it'll take you to appendix 2. So I want to get all of this. I want to make this frame proper, because this is just a shit frame right now that was just put in place to get an idea. But now that this is how far into the document we are, the next thing for us to do is to actually build the frame. And I've got ideas about the frame, but we're gonna have to fuck around with it for a while. So tomorrow's gonna be creative exploration of what's a good frame for us to build. And so I'm looking forward to that. That's because the way that I build my documents is here. I'm gonna take a quick tangent because I've got the time to do it. Let's go in and grab the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration book that I built. So you click there, and boy, that time delay is freaking crazy. There it is. Okay, so opening up the full preview. Book cover, love it. Here's our navigation buttons, right? Here's combat. And here's the creature menagerie. This is a good example. So we have this frame that we have here, right? And these radial buttons will take you to different sections. So I have an inverted, I've got the symbol for the chapter up here, and then you can see here's the hazard section. So you can see that the hazard is inverted, so you know that's the section of the book that you're in, and then you click it and it'll take you to to spellcasting, and now we're in spellcasting, so that gets highlighted. And at the front end of the chapter, we have the sigil for exploration here, for instance. But going back to the menagerie is a good example of here's our general frame, right? And then you can see that I'm bleeding. I'm using that frame to help merge into the piece, so I can fuck around with the borders of the piece. By like here, I'm bleeding the border, but over here, I'm bleeding. I've got a solid line here for the border here to help keep the frame of the document in the darkness of the space behind these clouds. The darkness creates that line there, but then the clouds are merging in the same amount of gray space as the frame, so I get to blend into the frame there. And there's other, like down here, I get to break. I literally get to tear the frame and bleed it into the space. So I want to do something similar to this with the Eberron book that we're creating here. So when we make this frame, I'm going to want to build it with the idea of being able to do things like this. Because when I get into, like, this is a really fun way to prevent you from just having you know, a white background with the creatures on it. This is like demonstrating this is their environment. Here you go. Like, this was a lot of fun to do. And I can find neat little opportunities to fuck around with stuff, but that's the type of framework that I want to do. I love doing this type of framework. It's just, I have the medium of, like, I have infinite options for me to make the book look any way that I want. This is a fun way of being able to fuck around with it. So I love doing this stuff. It's so fun. See, like, I have this little blank space here. I could have maybe tried to cram in a little illustration, but just using the texture environment, like establishing this text overlaying the environment, that's just a fun way to break frame and to be able to eat up like these little corners that otherwise wouldn't have any real value. Like, I can just bleed this off into the frame, let the frame do the work. So it's creating more. It's just creating another dimension of visual reference and interaction with the piece to make it all sort of blended. Like here, I'm cheating. Like, I've completely broken frame here and replaced it with the smoke coming off of these volcanoes. And this is cheating all the way out to the edge of the frame. But it's like, that's an instance where I felt like it felt better to do it that way. So why not? You know, I don't have any specific rules. I just have a feeling of like, how does this work, right? So it's, oh god, it's so much fucking fun. Anyway, that's my goal. That's one of the goals that I have for this book, to have similar play along the edges here, because I think that helps. I'm thinking about like maybe having different frames for each part, because like part one, you start off in the village, in the forest, finding out that there's a problem, and then you go into the manifest zone in part two and explore this foggy space, and then part three is delving down into the actual underground facility where the manifest zone is being created. So there's potential that like the top of the frame stays the same throughout the entire document, but as we move further down the page, it changes to match the specific part of the book that we're inside of. And then that allows us to play with different environment, like the corner pieces where we need, like the bottom corners is where we're going to see gaps most often. So we can open up those spaces and have some sort of interesting texture in there, depending on what part of the book that we're in. That's a little bit of a word pie, but those are the ideas that I've been thinking about. So, okay, so where are we at? What are we doing? I want to take all of this and duplicate it. First off, for the archives, let's do something like that. That's about the frame where I want to be at. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to file, open, no. File, new. Down. That's the illustration. There you go. Atur Academy. I'm gonna let that one sit. But now that we have that as our frame of reference, I can drop that away. I can merge this down into a single piece. So you just cut through it. And now when I grab this frame like this, I can take this without marring the entire piece, just that little piece of illustration there. And we can drop this down into the frame that we have built. I think that feels pretty good. So we'll do that. I'm going to build a frame around this. Where's our text? Okay, what I'm going to do is, in concluding the adventure, this part here, I'm going to add a couple lines. I'm just gonna pontificate to buff that out a little bit. But I'm pretty happy where that's at. So let's go up here and let's whittle away a little bit on this edge here. I like doing these blurred edges. Takes a little while to do this. I don't have a fast process for it yet. I'm thinking of ways to get it faster, but for now, this is how it's done. Build out like that. Feels pretty good. And then, yeah, we're gonna have just break frame and fall off the edges there. But I want to take another folder. And then here. There. There we go. Soften that edge a little bit. There we go. There we go. Gonna sit here and whinge on this for a moment here just to get that smudgery in the way that I want it. There we go. Like that. Karen, you buy it if you want. Just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. Bless you that you want to purchase it. I really appreciate that. I have more Spelljammer stuff I have planned for probably late 2026, 2027. I'm going to run Storm King's Thunder as a Spelljammer campaign to test the Mecha Kaiju mechanics. And I suspect that's going to be maybe like around February next year. Because the mecha rules are so easy. With the Spelljammer document that I already have here, building mecha out of those rules is so fucking easy that it's something I gotta do. It's just like, it's such low-hanging fruit. I gotta do it. Building mecha out of those rules is so fucking easy. And then building the Storm King's castle, make it a dwarven citadel instead. Replace the Storm King with a dwarven sect of guardians. Reorganize the cities that were defending against dragons. Make that instead asteroid colonies. And instead of dragons, well, we can still have dragons, but make them mega kaiju dragons, like 1,500 feet in size. And then deploy mecha from the dwarven citadel to fight the giant creatures. And then XCOM style, have a map of the asteroids that are in orbit with each other, that are like a collective commune sort of thing, that your citadel is there to defend from kaiju attacks. So when kaiju show up, you deploy the mecha, you go do the thing, and then you decide which area do you want, and whenever you resolve, and then we'll have a trade path. So the fortress will not only be able to act as a defense, as a mobile defense and police, but it'll also be able to use for trade between the communities. Since it is a heavily guarded facility that's mobile, it makes for a great transport for moving goods from one area to another. So using the Bastion campaign system that we've been developing, we can establish that like each community might have its own complications that arise, and then the team gets to decide which one do they want to focus on as the focus of the adventure that session, and let the other things get resolved by NPCs. And if the NPCs resolve it poorly, it gets worse. So that creates another opportunity for the characters to deploy and to help fix the problem. So, and hey, it's 7:54. So the illustration is done. We've actually finished. God, the sense of release in finishing this piece is so good. Let's just, I want to mess around with the fringe just to make sure it's in the place that I want it to sit in. Oh, right on. I've seen that. It's yeah, it's okay. For what it's attempting to do, it does well. I am not disparaging it. It's just my design ideals come from a different direction. They're looking at it from, I'm a 5-foot character, I'm going to fight a 400-foot dragon. How do we do that? Well, climbing up the dragon and punching it in the eye to hit its soft spot. That's a solution. It's a solution with the tools that they have available to them. To harp on my own shit, the Spelljammer book that I built redesigns 5e combat to work at the 50-foot, 500-foot, 1 mile, 10 mile, 100 mile, etc. scale. So you can have your characters running on the back of a 500-foot dragon, but I can also accurately depict that dragon at the 500-foot scale for you to look up at, and we need a bigger boat. And then so we built bigger boats that can deal with the kaiju. So all the that weak spot idea. If you're interested and if you haven't seen it, you can dive into my content and go look at my videos. Spelljammer Mega Kaiju. Here you go. This is the Spelljammer Mega Kaiju book content. It talks about creating a 1,500-foot Mega Kaiju that's attacking the Rock of Brawl. It incorporates both the massive scale Mega Kaiju, fleet combat, and then your individual characters. Inside of that fleet, your individual characters at the 5-foot scale going in and attacking the weak spots of the kaiju. So while you have your fleet attacking the mass of it, your characters are going in to hit the weak spots to help drive it away. So this idea, like the Ryoko's guide, would be able to actually fold into the frame that we've created with the Mega Kaiju. But we're providing more tools so that you aren't limited to just how am I supposed to depict fighting this 1 mile sized creature, even though I'm only a 5-foot character. We can change your frame of reference so that you aren't just attacking it as a 5-foot creature. You can use that same 5e action economy at the 500-foot scale or at the 1 mile scale with a fleet of ships to take on the creature like Voltron style. So that's the idea. So I'm not disparaging Ryoko, but they had a very specific frame of reference that they were trying to make this kaiju system work. And my retort is break the frame and change your scale of perspective so that you can deal with Mega Kaiju and like Pacific Rim at that 500-foot scale where these machines and these creatures are actually naturally operating inside of. So you don't have to do... So we do the footwork for you to be able to build out that larger frame of reference for you to be able to have these larger size battles, but not have any more difficulty than you would have in running 5e combat in a dungeon room like normal. It's all designed to work with the same tools at different scales. And then we provide the rules for how to change scales from 5 foot to 50 foot to 500 foot to 1 mile, etc. We have the scaling system inside of there as well, so that your characters can actually operate with these massive machines and everyone's still using the same language and same tools that already exist inside the 5e game engine. So I think Ryoko will fold into from what I've seen of the PDF, Ryoko folds well into this Mega Kaiju idea and would actually be complementary to it. But I wanted to make a frame of reference, like literally rebuild the frame so you can operate at any scale, so that you can approach encounters and your campaigns from a different vantage, as it were, from a different elevation than usual. So, so I'm not trying to say what I did is better. I'm just trying to say the way that I built Spelljammer allows you to take Ryoko's and just drop it inside of it without changing any references. In fact, you'd be able to take the ideas of Ryoko and apply it to 50-foot mecha running around in Gundams and Rumblers to be able to fight 1,000-foot monsters and be able to use those same techniques, but now with a larger scale machine that you're operating with. Anyway, that's the idea. So yeah, it's me having a fevered dream about cool stuff in Spelljammer. So strap in. But I walk through the whole process and then show you in the Spelljammer book where all these things exist for you to be able to build these tools to create the encounter that I give to you in that video. But I have hit 8 o'clock. It is time for me to bail. I'm going to be back at 6 o'clock tonight. That's 10 hours from now, 6 p.m. Seattle time, -8 UTC, to continue working on the Bastion campaign book. And I'll be back tomorrow morning. We're going to start working on the frame, the page frames, and I'll post this finished illustration on my Discord channel, which is linked down below. So that's it for now, guys. Thanks for the conversations. I really appreciate you guys. Anyone that is into this type of stuff and wants to see more, like, subscribe, bell icons, notifications. Check out my books below. Blah blah blah. And I'll see you all in 10 hours. See you then. Cheers.